Ignacio, thank you for participating in the Golf Digest Challenge and sending in your video. My name is Chip Koehlke. I'm the Director of Instruction at the Fado Golf Institute in Orlando, Florida. And it looks like you're probably in Florida as well by the scenery here in your video. Pretty good golf swing. And the other thing I would say to you is that there's a couple things you could do maybe to make it a little bit more consistent. One thing is on your takeaway. That yellow line that I drew in there represents your shaft plane, and the top yellow line represents your shoulder plane, which is higher but parallel to the shaft plane. Ideally, we want to have that club going through the middle of those two lines, and your tendency is, in your initial takeaway, to get the club working just a little bit low and underneath that. It's not too bad, but just a little bit low. I know the camera is moving a little bit here. But when the shaft gets parallel to the ground, it should also be parallel to the target line. And your club head's just a wee bit behind you there. So I'd work on that position a little bit. Try to keep that club head a little bit more in front of your hands on the way back. At least until it gets to this position where the shaft is parallel to the ground and parallel to the target line. If you do that, when the club goes to set, it's going to set, instead of through your right upper arm there, where it's setting, it's going to set a little bit more out here in front of you and through your shoulder, closer to your shoulder plane, and that's going to make it much easier for you to transition. The only other thing I would say to you is that on the downswing, well, let me back up here for a second. That's the reason why the club is across the line at the top. So we'd ideally like to have that shaft here parallel to the target line. So that little bit of lowness in behind is what makes that club get across the line at the top. On the downswing, the only thing that I see that I would change, I kind of like your downswing a lot. Obviously the club's coming from a little bit underneath the plane. But you get off your right side a little too early. Your hands aren't even back to the golf ball yet, and you're completely released from the right side. And what that does is increase this knee flex, allow the right hip to release, and it starts reducing the amount of space that you have for you to actually swing your hands back in here or get your elbow past your right side into impact. So you get a little bit blocked right in here. You can see there that that space that we started out with where the red circle is all gone. And so it becomes a little cramped for you to actually release it. But all in all, a pretty good golf swing. So those are the couple things I'd work on. Keeping the club head in front of your hands a little bit more on the takeaway. The checkpoint there is shaft parallel to the ground and parallel to the target line. And then on the downswing, keep ground it with the right heel longer. You can keep your right heel on the ground all the way to impact. All the way to impact. Let it get pulled off after the club passes through. I think if you do those two things, it'll help you a lot. My email's attached here to your video. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact me. And if you are in Florida, please come and visit us at the Fado Golf Institute.